It all started with a single message, a few heartfelt words that no one expected, coming from a man who had spent years avoiding public emotions. Yaman, the actor known for his strength, mystery, and charisma, finally spoke about what many fans had been whispering for months: Demet Özdemir. The woman whose name once intertwined with his on every screen, magazine cover, and fan page. And this time, it wasn't a rumor. It was real, and it came straight from him. The story began innocently enough. Ken had just returned from a project in Italy, his career booming more than ever. Between international premieres, red carpets, and endless brand deals, he seemed untouchable, a star too busy for the past. But a single social media post changed everything. On a quiet Sunday evening, he uploaded a black and white photo from Rome, captioned simply, "Some memories never fade. Some hearts never forget." Fans instantly knew who he was talking about. The comments section exploded. Within hours, hashtags like #CanandDemet, #EmotionalConfession, and #FromItalyWithLove began trending worldwide. Thousands of fans posted side-by-side photos from their old series, interviews, and candid moments that had once melted hearts across Turkey and beyond. But the real storm began when Demet Özdemir reacted, not with words, but with silence. She posted a single picture of herself standing by the sea, looking away from the camera, her caption reading only, "Some echoes never stop." For the fans who had followed their story since her Kensi Kuss, this was no coincidence. The emotional back and forth felt like the latest chapter of a love story that never truly ended. Behind the scenes, close friends revealed that Can's post wasn't spontaneous. "He's been thinking about it for weeks," said one insider. "He told a few people that he needed to say something, not to get attention, but to find peace. He missed being honest. He missed the simplicity of those days with Demet." What made this confession so powerful wasn't just nostalgia, it was vulnerability. For years, Yaman had been the picture of strength and confidence. His every move was calculated, his interviews measured. But now, the tone had shifted. The man who had once walked away from the spotlight of rumors was now standing in it, by choice. A few days later, during an Italian TV appearance, the interviewer dared to ask what everyone wanted to know. "Can, was your post about Demet Özdemir?" The studio fell silent. Ken paused, looked down for a moment, and smiled faintly before saying, "There are people who come into your life and never really leave. Sometimes distance doesn't erase feelings, it just teaches you how deep they go." That single line sent the internet into meltdown. Fans translated it into multiple languages. Edits, montages, and emotional TikToks filled social feeds, clips of their old interviews paired with his new words. "He still loves her," fans wrote. This is his way of saying what he couldn't before. What many people didn't know, however, was that this confession wasn't just a public stunt. It was deeply personal. According to someone close to Can, he had sent Demet a private message before posting anything online. He didn't want her to be blindsided, the source said. He wrote something honest, that he didn't regret anything, that those years had shaped him, and that he still respects and cares for her deeply. Demet reportedly didn't reply immediately. But a few days later, she was spotted at a small cafe in Istanbul, looking thoughtful, her phone in hand. Paparazzi photos of that moment quickly went viral, titled "Demet's Reaction to Can's Message." Though she said nothing, her expression said everything, a mixture of surprise, emotion, and maybe even peace. The media frenzy intensified. Italian and Turkish magazines released cover stories titled "Love That Never Ended" and "From Italy with Love, Can and Demet Reconnect." But insiders claimed there was more to it, a private phone call that happened days after the public posts. "They spoke for nearly an hour," revealed one source. "It wasn't romantic or dramatic. It was honest. They talked about everything, the past, the misunderstandings, and how much the media had changed them." Ken reportedly told her, "You were my calm in the chaos. I didn't see it then. But I do now." Those words never appeared in the press, but somehow, they found their way to the fans, perhaps through whispers, perhaps through someone who simply couldn't keep such a beautiful secret. In the following days, Ken shared another cryptic post, a photo of the Italian sunset with the caption, "Sometimes, love doesn't end. It transforms." Demet responded once again, this time, subtly liking the post. It was the digital equivalent of a smile from across the room, small, but powerful enough to send the fandom into chaos. "This means they're talking again," fans screamed. Memes, tributes, and fan theories flooded YouTube. Channels began analyzing every detail, their recent interviews, their travel schedules, their matching accessories. Even people who had never followed Turkish dramas were suddenly invested. The story had become universal, two people, once in love, now separated by time and fame, but still connected by something unspoken. Meanwhile, journalists tried to get a direct statement from Demet. In an interview for a beauty campaign, one asked cautiously, "Demet, social media is full of comments about Yaman's message. Do you have something to say?" She smiled gently, brushed her hair back, and said, "Sometimes, silence is the most sincere answer." It was graceful, mysterious, and perfectly Demet. Fans dubbed her response the most elegant clapback in history. But even those closest to her admitted, the post and Can's words had touched her deeply. Demet isn't someone who shows her emotions easily, one friend explained. But she was moved. It reminded her of who they were before all the noise. For Can, this confession marked a turning point. Insiders claim he felt relieved, like he had finally closed a chapter that had followed him for years. He didn't do it to reopen old wounds, his manager said. He did it to be free, from guilt, from speculation, from everything left unsaid. But even freedom can be emotional. One late-night story from someone who saw him in Rome described him sitting alone at a restaurant, writing in a notebook. When asked if he was okay, he reportedly said, "Sometimes, peace looks like loneliness." Back online, the buzz continued to grow. The post surpassed 5 million likes, and the phrase "some hearts never forget" became a viral quote across fan accounts, printed on fan art, wallpapers, and even merch. The world had turned a simple confession into a symbol of timeless love. Weeks later, Demet posted a new project announcement, a romantic drama about love, loss, and second chances. Fans couldn't help but connect the dots. "Is this art imitating life?" one wrote. Maybe it's her way of answering him through her work. Through all the speculation, one truth stood out: Yaman's confession had done something few celebrity statements ever do. It humanized him. It showed a side of him the cameras rarely captured, the man behind the fame, who once loved deeply and wasn't afraid to admit it anymore. The final twist came quietly. During an Italian awards event, as he accepted a recognition for his international success, Ken looked directly into the audience and said, "To the people who inspired me to become who I am, thank you." Some names don't need to be said for hearts to understand. That moment was all it took. The camera flashed, the audience applauded, and the internet once again exploded. "He meant Demet," fans wrote. "This love story will never die." Whether or not they ever reunite, one thing is certain: their story continues to live on. Not through gossip or drama, but through the emotions they once shared with millions. Because love doesn't always end with goodbye. Sometimes it ends with a confession, honest, quiet, and eternal.